Okay, so how to score tests and use some of the data features in ALEKS. We're going to use a 6th grade teacher as a model here because they have already given a test this year. So we'll go to Chavez, first period, linked class. And if we go to gradebook, if you go to gradebook and it asks to set up your gradebook, please contact me and I will help you do that. But the 6th grade has already got their gradebook set up, and recognize that any of these percents are based off of a 0-point scale, not off the conversion scale that we have. So like the student that has a 55 here will probably end up being like a 76 or whatever that number happens to be. But if we click a student who scored 100%, you will see that all of these kind of nodules up here are green. And that means they got everything right. And there is 1 out of 1 point awarded for each of these questions. Each one of these questions was worth 1 point. Going back to the results, if I select a student that did not score 100%, we can see the questions they missed. I'll hover over number 2. They missed number 1, 6, 7, 9, and 11. Now when I look at the student results here, one thing that is good to keep in mind is that we want students to do work on paper also. And so I should have their paper sitting here next to me while I'm looking at the work that they submitted digitally. And so let's say that I look at this young person's test and I'm like, oh, on their paper it says 25.46. They did it right. They just made a typo when they put it in. I can come up here and click up to 1 point, and I can click save, and notice that this 55% will change. That's a 64 now. I do not want to make that change because I do not have the student work sitting in front of me. But that's how easy it is to award points in ALEKS for partially correct work or correct work. And so again, you can see here the answer that was submitted, what the correct answer was. Again, I would want to have the student work sitting in front of me. And something to remember is that every student is going to get a different number 7. So like if we remember this one for a moment, 6.58 is our first number. Let's go to a different student. Go to number 7. This student got 8.64. So it's going to present the same type of question to every student, but it is going to be a different question for every student. Equally as important to understand, when a student comes back in to do this retake, we've set it up as a quick retake. It's only going to ask them to do 6, 7, 9, 10, and 11, not the ones that they got correct. And they're going to get a different problem for number 7 than they got the first time. So if you did want to give a student their workspace back and just have them do the work on the same workspace, they are going to get a different problem every time they come in to retake an assessment. So that's how we would go through and check the scoring for each individual student, much faster than scoring tests by hand. And then the other piece is, instead of view report, if I go to assignments, maybe it is view report, just bear with me, I apologize. Let's go to gradebook. If I click the test again, let's go ahead and hit view report and see what I get. Okay. Now I'm not in an individual students thing. This is back to having all the student scores here on the page. I can click item analysis and see the top 5 most missed items really quickly and easily. So number 6 was the most missed item on this entire test for this class. 52% of students missed it. If I click number 6, it gives me a bit of an analysis there. And if I click this right here, it will show me what type of question that is. And so this is great because I can throw this up for entry tasks. Anything like that where I know students need more practice. And so like, let's say I put this up there and I'm like, hey, we need a little bit more practice. We tried this and it was evident that we need some more work with it. I can click try another and I will get a new problem. And we do that one, I can click try another and I will get a new problem. I literally have an endless bank of practice problems for my students with any question type that I want to provide to them. So again, number 6, number 7, would be an area of focus, obviously, 8, 10, and 11, and it goes from there. So performance by question is not quite as useful. It's kind of this matrix of how each student scored. You can see some students scored 0.5 on some of these items. It must have been a multi-part question. Yeah, so this question had 2 parts. The student got the second part correct, but missed the place to put the decimal on the first part. And so again, very streamlined, very easy to use, very quick with the data telling us how students did by question, as well as individual student results.